Today in the ceramic studio, we're going to create quite the blizzard. We're going to start on your snowflake designs that you will use to transfer onto your ceramic plate. So whether you love frolicking in the white stuff or you like bundling up next to a fire like me, I hope that you enjoy this project. Now, we did talk about a little bit of the science behind snowflakes, and we know that when the temperature is about 27 degrees Fahrenheit, these little ice crystals form, and they have these little, I guess, legs that come out from the ice crystal, and that happens at a lower temperature. I think it's at like 23 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's where the design of the snowflake starts to occur. Now, some people believe that no snowflake can be the same, but as we know, one scientist did kind of prove that wrong. But at the end of the day, for the most part, most snowflakes are very, very individualized. So for you guys, you are going to practice creating some snowflakes that are already developed, and then eventually you're going to create your very own design, and then we'll decide which one you're going to actually put on your ceramic plate. So with those thoughts, thinking about the elements of art, we're going to talk about line, space, and shape. We're going to combine that with the principle of art of balance. And by combining all of those things, you should be able to come up with a really great snowflake design. So let's go ahead and get started. For your sketches, you're going to need your sketchbook, your snowflake packets, a ruler, and a pencil. And make sure that your pencil is nice and sharp. So if you need to sharpen it, find a pencil sharpener and get that lead to a point. So I'm going to turn to an empty page of my sketchbook, and here's some of the designs I've done over the last year or examples. So sketches are important in an art class because they help you put your thoughts down on paper. They help you organize your thoughts. They help you organize the steps that you'll take whenever you are going to transfer your ideas from paper into clay. So this is a really important step in the artistic process that doesn't get enough attention. So we're going to spend some time practicing muscle memory. That way when you go to make your snowflake for your slab plate, it will be really nice and neat, and your lines will be really crisp, and hopefully you have equal weight distribution throughout your different shapes, and you have a pretty even amount of equal negative and positive space. But for now, we just want to practice drawing the different snowflake designs onto the triangle. That's what I'm going to show you right now. So with your ruler in your sketchbook, we're going to make 10 triangles, and we're going to make them 2 inches by 4 inches, because that's about the size of the triangle that you'll be using when you go to cut out your official snowflake for your plate design. So whenever you're using a ruler, make sure that you know where the lines are on the ruler, because sometimes rulers, the measurement starts further in. This happens more on a plastic ruler. So just know where just make sure you're looking at the marks. So I'm going to go over to my 2-inch mark. I'm going to mark 1 inch because I want to know where the center of this line is. And then I'm going to line it up on the side of my line here. And I'm going to come down to the 4-inch mark. And then I'm going to line up my corners. Make sure they're lined up. Press down on your ruler so it doesn't move. And maybe don't make your center line as dark as I did, because that'll get in the way of your design, but we can erase it. So I'm going to get rid of this. So when you guys do this, don't make that so dark. So I'm going to make 10 triangles because I'm going to practice my drawing abilities 10 different times before I decide which snowflake I'm actually going to cut out for my plate. fun fact about snow, each winter in the United States, at least 1 septillion ice crystals fall from the sky. That's 24 zeros behind the number 1. Think about that as you continue to draw those crazy snowflakes. That's a lot of ice crystals. Now that you have your 10 triangles in your sketchbook, you're now going to practice drawing out the shape of the snowflake. So remember, in one of the packets, we have the snowflakes up in the left-hand corner, and that's going to show you what it looks like. And then in this triangle, that's going to show you the pattern. So you can kind of flip through and decide. I would look at the snowflakes first and pick your favorites. And then refer to the pattern and decide, okay, is this something that has equal space? Is there equal line weight, meaning from one edge to the other? Is there equal line weight all the way across most of the time? If so, then this would be a great candidate for your paper transfer for your snowflake design for your slab plate. The area that is shaded is going to be our positive space because that's going to be where the color is on your ceramic plate. The area that is white is going to be your negative space because that's going to be where the bisque square is showing through. So when you're looking at your different snowflakes design, you want to make sure that there's equal amounts of both positive and negative space. And for the most part, the snowflakes that are in these packets should reference that. So that shouldn't be too big of a challenge, but that is something that you're going to want to pay attention to. So these snowflakes in this packet are a little bit more simpler. So these are the ones that I would start with. So I would maybe do 3 of these and then switch over and take a look at this snowflake packet. These snowflakes are just a little bit more complicated, but they really pack a punch and they give a much more wow factor than these snowflakes are going to give. You still want to pay attention to the positive and negative space as you're looking at the design, and you still want to look at the weight quality. But because these are already made by a professional, you shouldn't have too much of a problem with that. But I would still flip through and decide which one you think that you're going to be the most successful at, and then those are the ones that you're going to practice drawing. Again, the directions of how to draw the shape is right here in order, and remember that the area that is black is going to be your positive space, and the area that is white is going to be your negative space. So let's go ahead and get started. The next time it snows, if you're feeling devilish, think about this. The largest snowball fight on record took place in Seattle. Exactly 5,834 snow fighters came together to exchange balls of snow to create the largest snowball fight in the world on January 12, 2013. Notice in this design I changed it just slightly. My drawing was a little bit off and I knew I wasn't going to have space for this shape. So instead of squeezing it in there, I took away this little rectangle area, just attached this to the side, and moved this space down, which is why I have this. It won't look exactly like a snowflake in the picture, but I know it's not going to fall apart because I have it touching here, here, and here. So now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to mark the X's where the positive space is going to be, and it will also help me understand and recognize where I'm going to be cutting. I really like the snowflake design that's occurring. I think it could be really interesting on my ceramic plate, but my first drawing didn't turn out so good, so I'm going to try to redraw this in my next triangle. Much happier with the way that this design turned out compared to the first attempt. So again, this is why practicing your lines and sketching them out multiple times is super important. In the art world, we really like to study color, but here's the crazy thing about that white stuff. It's not actually white, but it's rather translucent. It's the light reflecting off it that makes it appear white, with many of the sides of the snowflake scattering light in all different directions. It's diffusing the entire color spectrum. The snowflake said, "Hey, watch this, Roy G. Biv." Now, snow can also appear in a wide variety of other spectacular hues. Dust, pollution, or even algae can color it black, orange, and blue. Next time you see a colored snowflake, think about what it went through. For my last 3 drawings, I'm going to try to come up with my very own designs. Now, I did 12, you guys will have 10, so for your last 2, that's what I would like you to try. You may use them on your snowflake and you may not, but you've had the practice, you've used your references, and now let's try to put line weight, shape, positive, negative space to work with our own original design. The next time it snows in your city and you refer to it as a blizzard, I want you to think about this. Snowfalls must meet a strict set of stipulations to be considered a blizzard. Visibility must be below 200 miles, while the wind has to reach speeds of around 30 miles per hour. That's an incredible amount of wind. Now, I grew up going to Michigan around the lakes visiting my grandparents, and I have experienced several blizzards. The lake effect snow is something that is out of sight. You can literally see the snowflake design sitting in the palm of your hand. If you ever get a chance to experience, it's an incredible sight to see. Now that I have my 10 snowflake designs practiced and drawn out, I need to make my template for my snowflake. But I'm just going to go through and I'm going to decide which ones I'm going to do. So I'm going to do 4 total, so I've got plenty to choose from. So I'm just going to put a little star next to the ones that I'm going to attempt. And then I'm definitely going to do 2 of the ones that I tried to create. If you're not happy with your designs, that's okay. You can pick one of the other ones. But I would like for you to try at least one of your original snowflakes design. We're going to prep our paper so we have our template for our snowflake. So we're just using a regular piece of computer paper, and I'm going to fold my paper lining up the edges. And I want to take my paper from a rectangle to a square. Make sure you try to line up the corners as best that you can. Take your time, don't rush through this because it's an important step. We're going to take our snowflakes, we're going to elevate them. We're going to take them from the elementary style snowflake from the square to a round snowflake. So it just is so much more dynamic, and it will fit really nicely on your slab plate. So now that we have our first triangle, we're going to go ahead and we're going to fold it in half again. Try to line up your corners the best that you can, and crease your paper. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So we're going to do a tri-fold. And when you fold the first piece, you want it to be kind of at an angle. So we don't want to be right here in the middle, and we don't want to be way back here, because we're going to fold the other half of our square around the back. So you might have to make some adjustments as you go through this. I want this edge to line up with this edge when I fold it backwards. And if it doesn't, when you line the two up, if this piece is too far out, then you know that this fold was too far that direction. So I just need to adjust that just slightly. So I'm just going to pull my fold back just a little bit, and I'm going to try that again. So I lined it up on that far edge, and now I'm taking a look at it on this side. And that's a little bit better, but still sticking out just slightly. So I'm trying to line both sides up so they're exactly on the edge of the triangle. Once you've adjusted your paper, you shouldn't have any edges sticking out or in on either side. At this point, we want to get rid of these little tail pieces, so we're going to just cut straight across. Once you have your template ready to go, you're ready to use your sketch references to apply it to your Snowflake template. Be sure to turn the paper, not the scissors, or you're going to end up backwards. Turn the paper, not the scissors. At this point, you guys will continue down the journey of creating 3 more additional snowflakes. Make sure that one of them is your own original design. Once you have it completed, we'll decide together which snowflake shows good line quality, has equal positive and negative space, and you'll be ready for your transfer onto your slab plate.